Hi everyone, my name is Stacey and I'm an affair recovery coach specializing in helping the unfaithful end their affair and get their life back. Okay, so let's jump into today's video. Today's video is, I want to talk to you about how to prevent future affairs, because if you've already had more than one, you might be a little frustrated with yourself and you might be thinking, okay, why am I having all these affairs? Like, I don't really want to do it, but I'm finding myself in one relationship after another and I don't know what's going on. So what can I do to prevent future affairs? So let's talk about what causes affairs. So I know some of you are going to be like, no, you're just people who have an affair, they're just selfish, they're evil, they're all that. Okay. Well, that's not the truth. Selfishness is involved, but basically what happens, the root cause of what causes us to cross our moral value system is our insecure attachment style. So our brains are designed to keep us in a homeostasis space. So if our brain senses that we are in distress, it's gonna go into overdrive looking for ways to make us happy. And if we find that one thing that our brain says is a reward, it will do whatever it needs to do to get our needs met, even if that means crossing our moral value system. So let's talk a little bit about what attachment styles are. Attachment styles are our way of interacting with and attaching ourselves to people who are important to us. Now, these styles can influence our mindsets, our behaviors, and our emotions in a negative way. So, meaning if you are involved, like if you're married, okay, and you have an unmet need, that is a signal that I'm in distress. My needs are not getting met. Now, people who have healthy attachment styles or secure attachment styles, they're going to, stand up. They're going to advocate for their needs. They're going to have conversations. They know how to communicate effectively. They know, let me call it out to you, what people with secure attachment styles, how they show up in relationships. So with them, their characteristics are they're stable, they're emotionally balanced, they're well adjusted, there's a healthy amount of self-esteem, they're comfortable setting boundaries, they're patient, steady, consistent, and accountable. So their behavior when it comes to conflict in the relationship, they will be, I need resolution. So I am going to go for resolution. So we're going to talk about this until we find resolution. They are vulnerable. They don't mind opening up. They know how to self-soothe. They know how to identify their action needs. They ask for support from others. So they are well able to have that conversation and interact in a healthy way. Now, people with insecure attachment styles, their behaviors can go from stonewalling to dismissing to clinging to provoking to testing, all of this kinds of stuff. And most importantly, when the fear kicks in, they will go into panic mode. So freeze, fight, or flight. That's, like if they get into the fear part. So what happens is, if you want to not have, okay, so with your attachment style, it's going to come with a mindset. It's going to come with a belief system. Okay, so in other words, and I tell my clients this, and this was what I did. So if my husband spends too much time on a hobby or with friends, then I automatically believe he doesn't love me, I'm rejected, and he's going to leave me. That's because my core wounds are abandonment, and that's what I believe about my husband's behavior and about myself, that I'm going to be rejected, I'm going to be left, I'm going to be abandoned, I'm not good enough, that kind of thing. Those are belief systems that I have about myself. And when someone has those sets of belief systems, it's going to create negative emotions. So inside of me, fear would rise up when my husband wouldn't spend any time with me. I'm afraid he's going to leave me. What behavior follows that is I will try to provoke attention. I will try to be clingy for a little while, but then I'm going to withdraw from him completely and put up walls, and that's going to make myself vulnerable. And now I'm on alert for whoever might pay attention to me. And this is all happening subconscious. This is why we don't really understand how we had an affair. Like, how did I get here? How did I do this? How can I, prevent this? But our attachment style is a very real thing, and it was very real in my life. Once I started learning about this, I went back into before the affair, and I can remember my mindset, and I can remember when the fear kicked in, when the needs weren't being met, when I was interpreting my husband's behavior as he was going to leave me, and that wasn't true. And that's the most important thing, is that no matter what your attachment style is, like the insecure, those beliefs that you have about yourself, they're not true. So if you believe that you're rejected, if you believe that everyone's going to betray you, if you have a hard time trusting people, or if, you're going to be abandoned, those things are not true. That's just what you believe from a core wound or from trauma or something that happened when you were a child. So they affect the marriage, those belief systems, and they affect our behavior in the marriage, which causes problems. And they make us vulnerable, because if someone comes along and they're giving us, those needs of attention, validation, approval, support, all of those things, they're meeting those needs, then we're going to latch onto them really tightly, because now I feel safe. You're creating a sense of safety for me. So to prevent future affairs, we really want to learn how to heal our attachment style. We want to go from insecure to secure, especially if we've had more than one. One is a good indicator. If you want to stop at one and make sure this doesn't happen again, then that's what you want to do. You want to work on healing your attachment style, because that will change your mindset. You can heal those core beliefs. So what I take my clients through is, there's two parts of a program, how I work with my clients. My first one is, let's end the affair, let's work through the grief, healing you, getting you better from the affair partner. The second part is, let's heal your attachment style. Let's go from insecure to secure, so we can prevent you from having this again, so that you can, if you are rebuilding your marriage, you can go back and have a healthy marriage. So what we work through is core wounds, regulating emotions, learning what our needs are, and being able to communicate those needs effectively, learning how to set boundaries, learning healthy coping skills, like our behavior. Because if we're a person who completely withdraws anytime you feel conflict, then that's going to cause problems in the marriage, because communication is the number one key to a successful marriage. You have to be able to communicate problems, but if you withdraw and shut down, you're not going to be able to do that effectively, and that's going to cause a break in the emotional connection. And when you have a break in the emotional connection, that's when intimacy starts to break down, and then you start to drift further and further apart from each other. So we have to have good communication. So if you want to prevent another affair, this is the way that you want to handle it. Once I learned about this and I started to do this, when you're in school for learning about attachment styles, you have to do all of the work on yourself first, and before you can work with someone else. And I get that. So when I started doing it with myself, and then I told my husband about it, and we started working on it, I can really pinpoint when that attachment, or let's say this, when that core belief system tries to come back into my mind, and I can catch it now, and I'm like, oh, nope, that's a lie, I'm not going down that road. And I have the ability to completely change my behavior, whereas I'm not getting in fear anymore. I'm not, testing and provoking my husband. I'm not being passive aggressive to get his attention. And, my husband, so I was anxious, preoccupied. That's one of the attachment styles. The other one, there's another one, dismissive avoidant and fearful avoidant. Well, my husband, he's dismissive avoidance. So dismissive avoidance and anxious attachment styles, they they get on this push-pull cycle that can almost be a nightmare, because if his attachment style, if I get too close and too clingy, then he gets fearful and he pulls away. And if he pulls away, then I feel like, that kicks up my fear that he's going to leave me, so I try to get closer. So we were like pushing and pulling each other away. But once he started, learning about his, now he's able to communicate instead of shutting down. Now he's becoming more aware of what his triggers are that causes him to shut down. So we're working together, and we've been doing this for a while, and it has really, really helped us be able to have a healthy relationship. And not just the communication, but to keep the emotional connection strong without having bitterness and resentment and anger and all of that. Your lifeline in a marriage to sustain you through a lifetime is intimacy. And one of the building blocks of intimacy is emotional connection. So when you heal all of this, you can maintain that emotional connection. So that's my video for today. If you would like to work with me on changing your attachment style or healing your attachment style, you can find all that information down below. You can sign up for through my calendar, or you can email me and we can go over a few things. But I'm here to help you prevent another affair also. So yeah, if you found this helpful, great. If you need me, I'm here. Just message me. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.